And we're back at the Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona. Heat number 10, round number 3, a big matchup in Felipe Toledo versus Kanoa Igarashi. Kai Pugaro here along with 89 world champ Martin Potter for the call. And this, on paper, Pots, is a great heat.
Oh, absolutely. You just got to go back to round number 1 and a big paddle battle. And oh my goodness.
Wow.
What is going on there?
Well, we're going to watch him. This is Kanoa Igarashi in the blue jersey, and he's surfed this wave through. Remember, we always start heats, Pots, with a neutral priority. So we're going to take another look at this. So priority is determined by positioning on the wave.
Well, it is a peak situation. It kind of looked a little bit like more of a left-hander, maybe. Be nice to get Richie in and have a chat about that one, because that was not the way Felipe Toledo wanted to start that heat, let me tell you right now. And I was about to say, super excited about this heat. Why? Because Toledo absolutely lit it up in round number 1. Probably one of the more outstanding performances I've seen from him in the early rounds. And to start off the heat like that was not a good thing.
Not a good thing. We see the stats of the 22-year-old from Ubatuba here in Brazil, and we will await to see if there was a call on that.
Did he hinder the scoring potential from Kanoa Igarashi? That is the question. They did kind of bump a little bit, and then Kanoa pushed his way through.
There's the stats for the 19-year-old out of Huntington Beach, Kanoa Igarashi. All right. Well, it came through. So that is a non-priority interference, red, Felipe Toledo, on blue, Kanoa Igarashi. So it's not a priority interference.
So that means
it's like a paddling interference.
Right. So his second highest scoring ride will be cut in half. That's
the math.
I think is the correct analogy on that. And Felipe Toledo is going to be kicking himself, because that is going to make it just that much harder for him. So, hypothetical situation, he gets 2 10-point rides. One of those 10s will be cut in half to a 5.
That's right.
So, he's going to need some big scores if he's going to win this heat, that's for sure.
He's certainly going to need some big scores. Right now, let's catch up with the last heat winner, Wilco's, with Andre.
Yes, guys, I'm here with Matt Wilson. He just won his heat against Josh Kerr. That was a pretty tough hit, but you got the job done, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty slow one. I still don't really feel like I've done a turn yet this contest, which is weird to be in round 4 and feeling like that. But yeah, I'm stoked to get through that one, and hopefully I can start picking some better waves out here. I'm kind of struggling, but looks like there's some swell coming, so it should be fun.
Well, you won here before. You beat Kai Otto in 2011 when it was like prime event. So you feel pretty confident this wave?
Yeah, for sure. That year was kind of big lefts, and now it's little rights, so it's a little bit different. But hopefully it looks like there's that big swell on Tuesday, so we could get some big lefts again, which would be nice. And yeah, that one was tough. I kind of had a plan to go left, and then the right started up again. I was like, all right, looks like I got to go right. And so you got to keep have a lot of plans out here. I think it changes so much. So yeah, to get through that one, I'm pretty stoked.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, well, there you go. Number 9 on the Jeep leaderboard, Matt Wilkinson, moves on to round number 4. That's going to be a non-elimination round. So Wilco guaranteed already a 9th here or better.
Yeah, you know, and you heard him talk about the fact that he's in round number 4 and he felt like he hasn't done a turn yet. So that says to me he's got plenty left in the tank. Matty Wilco has won here before as a prime QS event. So trying to channel that energy. Felipe Toledo having a look at this one.
Toledo looking down the line. God, just unloads on that opening turn, full rail. Now he wants more, throws the air and comes unglued, goes down on the closer.
Yeah, well, that first turn was absolutely amazing.
We got the judges' tower with an explanation. Bertamo, you're up there.
Yes, how you going, guys?
Very good. We're good here. Can you give us an explanation of what happened with that non-priority interference between Kanoa Igarashi and Felipe Toledo?
Yeah, unfortunately, an interference to start the heat. There's no priority, obviously, before any waves are caught. Blue owned the peak because he was in the middle of the peak and there was an equal left and right situation. So he had the right to the left-hander, and unfortunately, Red pushed it too far and hindered the takeoff for Blue. So that was our situation, and unfortunate to start a heat like that, but it is what it is.
Bertamo, what are the implications on that? What happens to Toledo as far as his scoring goes?
Yeah, because it's a non-priority interference, his second score is halved. So he gets to count his best wave, and his second best wave is halved.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification, Bertamo. We'll let you get back to the heat.
No worries, guys.
So,
all right. So as we thought, the second scoring ride is cut in half. So Toledo's really got to light it up, and well, he knows it, because watch this first turn here from Felipe. Just a John-like maneuver from Margaret River. Kind of gets caught behind the section just a little bit there, and realizing he needs something at the end, goes for broke. So offshore winds hindering that aerial maneuver, but a beautiful, searing, gouging maneuver from Felipe Toledo. Sneaky powerful this kid is, and he is going to have to light it up if he's going to win this heat. Scores coming through for Kanoa Igarashi's first wave, a 5.33, and Toledo with a 5.67. Hypo, that is an unbelievable first turn. Had he finished that off with that air reverse, we would have seen some excellent scores.
that's right, Potts. Explanation. Felipe Toledo is surfing with that interference, so the math's going to be a little bit different from him. We heard that from Perdomo, our acting head judge that we had up in the judges tower for clarification on what happened, as well as the penalty for it. Let's take a look to the WSL rule book, and here you go. If a surfer hinders another surfer's ability to maximize their scoring potential or riding a wave, then the obstructing surfer will receive an interference. Non-priority, second scoring wave is cut in half. Better than a priority, because a priority, you don't get that wave at all.
You get a big fat donut and pretty much out of the contest, really. I mean, especially at this level, round 3, pretty difficult to do.
So still some hope for Felipe Toledo. We can look at the math again. This year, 2017, Toledo, his average heat score is a 14.37. He's going to need to do better than that, given the situation out in the water.
Yeah, he's going to have... I think he's going to have to get 2 9s thereabouts, and even if with 2 9s, you know, he's looking at, you know, not much, 13 plus points. Let's have a look. Here we go. Unless he gets Kanoa back on an interference.
Hey, stranger things have happened. Now to live action, Kanoa Igarashi on the backhand, and Kanoa looking good. He's got that CI T-low under his feet and snapping through there. 5'11", Channel Islands is his equipment. Checked in the locker room with Kanoa, so we're going to see him. He's going to back up his opener of a 5.33.
Yeah, Kanoa's got to be careful too, because you know, Toledo is well capable of massive scores. Let's have a look at this wave here from Kanoa. Nice little opening turn, draws off the bottom again, keeping that board moving rail to rail, nothing too crazy just yet. So I'm not really seeing this score go too high. I'm seeing it kind of really pretty much in the mix of his first wave, which is a 5.33. So in saying that, Toledo knows now there's basically no room to move as far as surfing safe. And you saw that by his first wave. His intentions are clear. He is going to go absolutely ballistic in this heat. And he's going to have to if he wants to win it.
Well, Kanoa Igarashi, only 19 years old, but he is a seasoned competitor. His parents moved from Japan to Huntington Beach to spur on his surfing career. Kanoa, he knows, Potts, that he doesn't have to surf out of his skin right now. He can surf pretty conservative given the interference on Felipe Toledo. Toledo, on the other hand, he's going to have to shoot for the moon.
Yeah, I kind of disagree. I think Kanoa's still got to light it up. I think Kanoa still needs to post surfs waves in the 7+ range. A pair of 5s, which he's got at the moment, I don't think is going to be enough because Toledo's going to come at him. He's capable of massive scores. So, if Toledo drops a couple of big bombs, I mean, he's looking pretty good. But Kanoa can't rest on his laurels. He's got to make sure that he's got at least one excellent score in his scoreline. If he does that, he's a shoo-in. But at the moment, with a pair of 5s, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think he needs to light it up a bit more.
We'll see how it plays out, Martin Potter, as we see the ticker on the bottom. And that is all of our matchups that we're having here. Round number 3 of the Oi Rio Pro, presented by Corona. And that Heat 6 was a big one that we've been talking about all morning. Yagodoro over John Florence. But there's been some other great matchups. Jordy Smith continues his road to a potential victory here. Ace Buchan showed his ability as a veteran. Matt Wilkinson continues. The ladies are up next. Round number 3 for the women will start right after we conclude this round number 3 for the men's.
Beautiful day, Kaipo. I'm loving it. Sunshine, Saturday, crowded beach.
There's thousands. It's local time. It's about 9:25 in the morning, local time,
Yep.
and there is quite literally thousands of people already on the beach. Coming up next, we're going to see the big man from Portugal, tour rookie Frederico Moraes. He's going to come up against Julian Wilson. That's going to be another great heat.
Yeah, Julian Wilson surfing incredibly well. Had a great first round heat. Federico Moraes, rookie on tour, not surfing like a rookie on tour. He's been competing at a high level, dropping bombs. But this heat right now, very interesting situation. Kanoa Igarashi with a 5.33 and a 5, so his 2-wave total is a 10.33. Toledo needs something huge if he has any kind of shot at winning this heat. And I think he knows that. 15 minutes and 20 seconds remaining.
Well, we'll see what happens here at the back half of heat number 10, round number 3. Can Toledo come back? We'll have the answer. Stick around. And welcome back to the Oi Rio Pro, presented by Corona. We got some visions from 2015 when Felipe Toledo took out this competition handedly.
Yeah, I was in the booth that day watching this go down, and it was a clinic. 3 finals, 3 wins that year, and all wins with 10-point rides in the final. There was about 50,000 people on the beach this day, and it was absolutely amazing. This is kind of what he's got to do today. Very, very similar kind of surfing necessary to win this heat. And Toledo, look at that. Absolute jam-packed stands. And Felipe Toledo walking away. What an amazing feeling to win at your home beach in front of that many people. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
That is crazy. And you know what? Although we're 100 kilometers east of Rio de Janeiro, plus we may see crowds as big as that because the beach is filling up.
I don't think the beach is big enough for the crowd we're going to get. When we started this morning at 7:05, it was already packed. So you can see it right now. It is standing room only. Once that tide starts coming in, it's going to compress that crowd. It is going to get full of energy. Electric stuff here this afternoon.
Oh, it's a sea of people. The streets are overflowing. And there's a lot of positive will getting thrown right now at Filipe Toledo. He needs to overcome a non-priority interference if he wants to move on to round number 4 and get a win over Kanoa Igarashi. Clock ticking down though, Potts. We're past the halfway mark. We're down to 12 minutes.
Yeah, an interesting situation. You can see Kanoa is staying right away from Filipe Toledo. He's got nothing to do with this heat right now. He just wants to sit off to the side, wait till he gets priority because he doesn't want anything to happen.
Can you explain a little bit further on the strategy right there, why Kanoa is so far away?
Well, you talk about strange things happening. Now, you know, let's say hypothetical situation, Kanoa gets involved with a scuffle with Toledo and then gets a priority interference back on himself, which means then he loses a complete wave. So at the moment, just playing it safe, staying away, waiting till Filipe catches his wave. Then he's going to move into the lineup with priority, so then absolutely nothing can go wrong. So very, very smart situation here at the moment. I'm sure he got some tips from Jake Patterson just to stay right away from Filipe Toledo at the moment. There is steam coming out of his ears right now, Filipe. I'm sure he's not very happy with what went down, but you've got to be careful of that. I mean, he pushed the issue. He should have realized he was on the wrong side of the peak to actually have a go at that wave, and hence his second highest scoring wave gets cut in half. At the moment, his top score of 5.67. He's looking for a 7.49. So let's say he gets that 7.49, then all of a sudden his 5.67 is going to be cut in half.
That's right.
So really, he needs 2 massive scores if he wants to win this heat.
Julian Wilson coming up next on the warm-up. His surfing has been so on point in 2017, but his results have not reflected the level of surfing that we've been seeing all year long so far from Julian Wilson.
True that.
And he's coming up against Federico Moraes, both on the warm-up. Strategy coming into play. You alluded to the coaching of Jake Patterson, who's in Kanoa Igarashi's corner, former championship tour surfer himself. He's a support squad for a lot of the rookies. And second year actually for Kanoa Igarashi, but he's also the support squad for rookies like Leonardo Fioravanti and Ezekiel Lau. Jake the Snake, he's got his pack there, and he definitely has support and knowledge for them.
The Snake Pit.
That's the Snake Pit, right? The kids, the Snake Pit. Not too many waves being ridden. The green are highlighting the high scores. Well, only 2 waves for Filipe Toledo, so only 2 scores to highlight.
Yeah, what a shame. I mean, this was one of those heats where we were sort of jumping out of our skin to sit down and analyze and check it out, and so far the ocean has just not cooperated. That first wave that came through was probably the best wave we've seen so far in this heat, and since then, not much on offer. So Filipe Toledo sitting at the back with priority. He's looking for a 7.49, but what he really needs is a 9 or a 10.
We know he can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Offshore conditions here, and the swell taking a breather. We can see the points break down on the bottom of your screen. Definitely want to get, if you're looking for a world title, a 5th or better throughout the year. You don't want this 13th place here, a mere 1,750 points. Igarashi taking it right, moving down the line, throws an air himself, and just lands on the white water, goes incomplete.
Yeah, that's not going to go into his top 2. So Kanoa just staying away from Filipe Toledo, giving him enough space. Toledo just praying for waves to come through. 8 minutes remaining. It's been sitting for quite some time, which can get frustrating. He knows he just needs a couple of waves. He can get himself back in this heat. At the moment, just a single score required. Have a look at that. Beautiful scenes here today.
Look at how many people are on the beach, and they continue to make the trek here to Saquarema, such a beautiful town here in Brazil. Beautiful South Atlantic Ocean, sandbars up and down the beach. We're at this particular break at Itaúna Beach called the Point, or the Point. There's a little rock formation that offers a big long left when the waves are cranking, and right now we have this peak going both ways for today's competition.
Yeah, a big situation, and unfortunately because of that peak situation we saw a non-priority interference to kick things off. If you just joined us, Felipe Toledo behind as far as his second highest score. Because of that interference will be cut in half, and at the moment his second highest score just a 0.20.
Kanoa Igarashi, he's our heat leader, going left again. Arcs off the top. Patient and paced approach. Just 2 turns for Igarashi, looking to better his low of a 5-point ride. Scratching down the beach in the red jersey, Felipe Toledo. What's he got for us? Let's watch this unfold. Hooks it. Second nice arc. Make it 3 with a whitewater climb. The crowd likes it.
Yeah, the crowd love it. And why not? It was kind of it was a good wave, but he's going to need more, unfortunately. He's going to need excellent scores on both of his waves. Here we go, let's have a look at this. First turn, nice and tight in the pocket. Straight in the bottom, straight off the bottom into that next maneuver. So nice flow between the turns. Beautiful transition. And Felipe, he's been sitting for quite some time, so just wanted to make sure he finished off that wave. Kanoa Igarashi trying to replace a 5.0. And now Kanoa with priority as he will make his way back out into the lineup. Nice big vertical snap there to finish off on that wave. So Kanoa Igarashi with the lead at the moment, 5.5 to go. This heat has just disappeared. Pipo, what happened? It's almost like that interference at the beginning of the heat just took all the air out of it.
Just sucked the life out of it. Let's get more insight. We have out in the field Brazilian surf legend Carlos Burley. Carlos.
What's up, guys? It's hard to see someone with so much experience as Felipe doing this kind of mistake, having an interference at this level of surfing, you know, this kind of hits. It's so hard for you to turn in your favor. So what I see right now, it's a mind game that he has to play, you know. He needs a really good score. He needs to go, you know, to the airs. He needs to do whatever he knows how to do it, but it's not easy, you know. It's a situation that's going to be hard for him to turn.
Thank you, Carlos, for the insight, and we agree with you. Glad to have Carlos Burley here. 2010 Big Wave World Champ.
You know, he said an interesting thing too, you know, with Felipe's experience, how did he let that happen? And, you know, sometimes in the heat of the moment, sometimes you don't think straight, you know, and it's, maybe he was trying to push the issue. You know, he was, if he had got that wave without Kanoa there, he would have been behind the section for the right-hander, which is kind of where you want to be. You want to backdoor the peak. So you can see him trying to have a look there, and unfortunate for Felipe Toledo. That was the beginning of the heat if you guys have just joined us, but unfortunate situation for Felipe Toledo, not for Kanoa Igarashi though, so he's currently in the lead. We're still waiting for that last wave of Toledo's to get locked in. He's looking for a 7.49. Dad is not happy. This is the wave though, right afterwards, just hooking into that turn. Beautiful maneuver from Toledo. And to try and finish it off, put the cherry on the top, just didn't quite stick that air reverse there. That would have been an excellent score for Toledo, but not to be. And this was his last ride, a 5.73, so he's going to need a lot more than this. He's going to need something above the lip. He's going to need some big air rotations on 2 waves, and time is ticking away.
Well, with the consideration of that interference, Actually, let's get back to this. This happened during that recap for Felipe Toledo.
Yeah, Felipe needs to get some excellent scores. You heard Carlos talk about it. He needs something big. He needs something above the lip, and that is not going to do it again. So Toledo with a 5.73. Last wave for Kanoa Igarashi, a 6.40. So now the requirement at an 8.86 for Toledo. So things are going to just start getting more and more difficult for him. The better waves Kanoa drops, the bigger the requirement's going to be for Felipe.
Let's talk about the headspace right now for Felipe Toledo. But before we get to that conversation, let's see what he's got for us. Just an up and out. Looking frustrated, Potts.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would be too, but you know, you're sort of kicking yourself saying, what was I thinking? All I had to do was let that wave go. Let Kanoa go. It was only a 5.33. It wasn't something that was going to be outrageously big, you know. So, you know, but like I said, in the heat of the moment, you don't want to give your opponent, you know, any kind of leeway. You want to force the issue, and obviously pushing just a little bit too hard there, getting that interference. So it's going to be a lesson learned. You know, I think Toledo, his surfing is good enough to win heats. He doesn't need to do that hassling and push the issue at the beginning of the heat. So he's going to walk away a little bit frustrated after this, but he'll learn from it, that's for sure.
I guarantee you, number 77 on the jersey, Felipe Toledo is going to want to take that wave back. And everyone playing fantasy surfing out there, on WorldSurfLeague.com, 68% of you may not get any more points in your column if this plays out the way it looks like it's going to play out in this final minute.
Yeah, well, you know, you could just hear the oohs and ahs when that went down, and unfortunate there for Toledo, but that's the nature of the beast. You know, there's rules in place.
Look at this, the paddle.
Yep.
And Blue Kanoa Igarashi, who does have priority, is going to play some defense on top of all of this. He's actually going to let Felipe go, thinking that Felipe can't get the score on this little insider, but he may surprise us, but he doesn't. So he's going to take this one in, and a dejected Toledo makes his way to the beach, eliminated from competition.
You know, there's rules in place, and we've all got to abide by them. Unfortunate for Toledo, came out on the wrong side of that. I was expecting big things from this kid after round one performance.
I was as well.
Unfortunate there, but like I said, it's the nature of the beast. Kanoa Igarashi, though, moves through to the next round, lives to fight another day, finds himself here in round number 4.
We'll be back with another heat from the Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona. Julian Wilson is going to take on Federico Moraes when we return. We're back at the Oi Rio Pro presented by Corona. The beach is full of surf fans. Julian Wilson takes on Federico Moraes in heat number 11, round number 3. Kaipo Guerrero along with 89 world champ Martin Potter for the call. And this is a great great matchup, Potts.
Yeah, well, it is. Two powerful surfers. Julian Wilson, probably one of the finest techniques on tour. Frederico Moraes, rookie on tour, been taking scalp surfing incredibly well. He's not surfing like a rookie. These big names do not daunt this man, and he's going to come out swinging, that's for sure. Julian's got his hands full. A little bit of a slow heat, that last one for waves. Let's hope the ocean comes alive for this one.
And on the replay, looks like Julian got the first wave.
Yep, while we're at that break, Julian Wilson opens up with his backhand. So some nice clean surfing from Julian Wilson, tagging this one all the way through the inside, getting that first wave under his belt, and just seals the deal. So getting a good start for Julian. You want to get that clean start. You want to get that first good wave under your belt. You want to apply the pressure straight away. And if all goes to plan, you want to drop an excellent score.
You said good wave. You said excellent score. That's exactly what Julian Wilson opened up with. Bottom tier excellent score, an 8-point ride for Wilson. And that's the way you want to start off a heat, putting some pressure on the pride of Portugal, Frederico Moraes, who has now priority. Let's throw it down to Strider Wazalewski. He's with Kanoa Igarashi.
Thank you, Kaipo. Yeah, Kanoa, interesting start to that heat, have to say.
Yeah, that was really weird. That wave was pretty good, so of course I wanted to go, and he said the right was good too, so I mean, it was just a good wave in general, so, and it was kind of getting slower, and I really wanted that wave, and yeah, I was kind of confused that he even paddled for it, and then of course he kind of bumped my rail, and I kind of was off balance the whole wave. I didn't have my rhythm that I wanted, so I only got a 5, but I think that was probably the best wave of the heat. But yeah, I mean, you know, it was a slow heat, and I'll take it, but it's not the way, you know, obviously I want to win a heat, but I'm definitely going to, you know, put that one behind and keep going.
You said that just prior when we were talking before the interview, it took you a minute to actually, you know, get your bearings back after that. It kind of rattled you.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where it was just confusing. I was like, that was kind of weird. It wasn't really necessary, and yeah, I was really I was pretty psyched that wave came right to me, and it kind of threw me off too. So I was like, well, I guess it rattled both of us probably. You know, I really wanted to bank a score on that one, but I couldn't. But yeah, either way, it was a slow heat, which kind of went in my favor, and the wind came up, which was probably a little bit harder for him to do the airs. So they kind of all came together, and I'll take it.
Stephen Bell came up to you after the heat. What'd you guys talk about?
He pretty much just cooked me and told me why did I fall in that one, and then why didn't I serve my first one better. But yeah, like I said, he kind of threw me off on the first one, and then I had one set where I fell in the first turn where I kind of just blew it. I was kind of nervous, but yeah, you don't really get many chances like that against Felipe, and especially in 2-3 foot beach break. So yeah, I mean, yeah, he kind of cooked me, but he's like my second dad, so I'll take it.
Well, congratulations on the heat win. Thanks for your time. We'll let you get ready for another heat.
Thanks, Strider.
There you go. Thank you, Strider. And a W's a W any way you look at it. So Kanoa Igarashi, he's going to be out to round number 4.
And he's a little rattled still, I think. A very interesting situation. Anyway, Frederico Moraes up and riding on his first wave, utilizing the backhand. The big Portuguese surfer has done his country proud so far this year, surfing incredibly well. He's got his hands full though with Julian Wilson, who dropped an 8.0 on his first wave, and is going to go to town on this one as he flies down the line. Nice little air reverse, spins it around. Julian's got probably one of the best bottom turn, top turn combos in the game. He's also got an air game second to none. So we're looking forward to seeing fireworks from him. 6.67 on that occasion. Frederico Moraes with a 6.83. So we've got a good heat on our hands.
Excellent heat on our hands. So now the requirement for Frederico Moraes is a 7.85 if he wants to take the lead from Julian Wilson. Interesting note that both surfers have the same support as far as equipment under their feet. Both Frederico and Julian Wilson riding JS Industry surfboards. We'll get to some of those specs a little bit later as Julian Wilson continues on, this time on the left with some smooth surfing on the backhand, coming down the line, floats over that section, looks to close this thing out with a punctuation, and that punctuation is an exclamation mark.
Wow, good surfing from Julian. An 8 and a 6.67, so using his priority there. I'm not sure whether he actually wanted that wave, but Frederico Moraes showed a lot of interest And so Julian opted to eliminate that opportunity for him. So 23 minutes remaining. And Julian's going to drop another solid score. Nice top turn there. I love the way he just kicks that board off the lip there. He doesn't sort of keep it nice and smooth. He gets a little bit of aggression out of the top of that wave, which I really love. And then finishes with a punctuation, as you said, on your feet. Judges like that when you finish that wave off. You do all the hard work and then blow it at the end. That's not a good sign. So Julian Wilson on his way to another good score. So from strength to strength, keep the ball rolling, keep the pressure on, keep your opponent in the corner and jab away.
We're talking about equipment. Julian Wilson, his board specs a 6.0 times 18 3/4 in width. Again, it was that JS Industries surfboard under his feet. He's got a couple of models to choose from, the Air 17 and the Monster 6. And he has a signature fin on FCS, the Julian Wilson fins. So that's a little spec into some of the equipment for Julian Wilson. Like I said, both surfers, there we go. Right on the screen, the Monster 6, 6.0, 18 3/4, 2.38. And he likes that large signature JW fin.
I like it, 6.0, a lot of foam. He's a big, strong kid, right? So
he can push it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, a little bit of board in front of your front foot kind of looks good too. It sort of really frames the shot. It really accentuates your turns, allows you to hold that rail a lot longer. I like it.
We saw that on stop number 1 where Kelly Slater rode a 5.6 in his opening round and switched over to a 5.10, a little bit more nose in front of him, and it made a giant difference. We're talking about equipment. Let's take a look at what Federico Moraes has under his feet. It's also a JS Industries, and it's a 6.0, a lot more width, 19 inches, 2 3/8 squash tail, and he likes those AM large fins. That Al Merrick template.
That's funny. That's my dimes right there. 6.0, 19.
That's your deal right there, huh?
It's right up my alley right there.
There's a couple extra in the locker room right now, Potts.
Right. Let's see if I can go and squeeze one out of him. No, joking. But yeah, that's exactly the kind of board I love. Even though Federico's quite a few inches taller than me, I like a bit of foam under my feet.
Well, here we go. Moraes looks right, turns left, hooks off the top. Good looking wave. And Federico hammers 4 big turns. Looking good. Good speed, power, flow. We've talked about the criteria before. He flowed through those maneuvers effortlessly.
Yeah. I like the way he started the wave slow and then just built speed. You can see the first turn, just clicked it nicely, draws off the bottom, another nice turn. Now watch him go to town here. Bang, bang. He just started picking up speed, picking up power, a bit more pizzazz towards the end of that wave there. So it's going to be another good score for Federico Moraes. This is a great battle here between these two. Snap off the top and then straight into that finishing maneuver. I like the body position too. He gets the board nice and vertical and gets that body torque, gets that upper body twisting around and the board follows. Good stuff from Federico Moraes.
We're waiting for scores from our judges for that last wave. The requirement for Moraes, you can see it on your screen, a 7.85 or better will give him the lead over Julian Wilson with 19 minutes and 40 seconds on the countdown. Do you think he got it, Potts?
It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. I'm seeing it go into the 7-point range. Maybe around 7.5. I don't know. So it's going to be close though. I'm just trying to think. Had he had a sort of a bit more of a vertical turn to kick that wave off, for sure, 100%.
Wilson generating some speed down the line, hammers the lip, carves through a second turn, floats through that section. That's all the wave's going to offer for Julian Wilson.
Well, these guys are the battle of the backhands at the moment. Both guys opting to surf the left-handers. Let's have a look at this Julian Wilson's wave, a little bit bigger. Beautiful opening maneuver, up and over the top, straight into that next maneuver. There's that flow that we've been talking about, oh so important. As Julian finishes off that wave there, didn't quite get the last turn in, but a lot of damage done nonetheless. So Julian trying to place a 6.67. Federico Moraes' wave number 2, slowly starting to filter in.
Federico on the right this time. A couple of nice turns. You see a little bit more warble on the right-handers. And Federico kicks out. Still awaiting 2 scores now for the Portuguese surfer, and a situation to follow. Well, previous wave, the left for Federico Moraes, 6.93, so Moraes still with the same requirement of a 7.75. Beautiful shot from up above.
All the conditions today, Kuiper, I mean, look at it. Absolutely beautiful, sunshine, offshore winds. It maybe could have been another foot or 2 bigger, but in saying that, it's still high performance. We've seen some great surfing so far this morning. Drama-packed Saturday here at the Oi Rio Pro, and we wouldn't want it any other way, would we? I mean, if everything went smooth, then it would be boring. So we like to see fireworks, a bit of drama, and some great surfing from all of the above. Some good heats coming up too, by the way. We're going to see some crazy heats as this day progresses. We're also going to see the women hit the water, so I'm looking forward to it.
I am as well. Our final heat, you can see on the ticker of all the heats that's already transpired. We'll get to that as live action for Rico Moraes. A couple of turns, caught up with him at the end of that wave. The final heat of this round is going to be a matchup of goofy footers. Owen Wright is going to come up against Nat Young. Here's a replay.
Yeah, Federico Moraes has changed his game plan, opting for some left-handers. Obviously, you know what, saying I need waves up into that 7.7 to 8 point range. The lefts are not giving it to me. A couple of high-range six pointers, 6.83, 6.93. So changing his tact and opting for a couple of rights. Trying to drop some big scores, and with that last wave of Julian Wilson, it is going to be a lot more difficult right now, Kuiper, because that wave from Wilson has put Federico in a daunting situation.
Right, you are, Potts, a 7.93 for the last score for Julian Wilson. Now Federico Moraes in the blue jersey needing a 9-point ride, so he's going to need an excellent wave and some excellent surfing if he wants to get out of this round 3 matchup.
Yeah, he's just got to wait. You know, I think now when you're looking at a 9.0, there's no easy way to do that. So you can either break it down into 2, replace both your waves with a couple of mid-range 7s, or you can sit and wait for the bomb and just drop the Hail Mary, put the pedal to the metal. Julian Wilson, here we go.
Nice bottom turn for Julian. Looks off the top. Seen that float before, and it goes successful again, and gets caught up in that frothy, aerated white water that he landed in, right?
Yeah. A lot more difficult to set the rail and get those fins engaged, isn't it? So, and it kind of makes me feel good that even the best surfers have trouble with that, because I know I do.
Difficult water. Well, we'll be back with more of this heat number 11, round number 3 with Federico Moraes and Julian Wilson here at the Oi Rio Pro, presented by Corona.
For me, obviously, I haven't found the formula yet. I'm not there. I know that it's within me, for sure. I feel like over the years there's been key moments where I've learnt key lessons. It's just about making it just that little bit more consistent where it is the difference of finishing the year 6 in the world and finishing the year, on top. I feel like there's a very small margin that changes that. And as long as I believe in myself and it gets me up in the morning and keeps me fired up, that's all I need.
Oi Rio Pro, and you saw a little profile of Julian Wilson. You can catch more surfers' profiles at worldsurfleague.com/profiles, and we have some great content there on the site with some insight into each and one of these surfers' lives and their psychology.
Yeah, it's unreal. So make sure you guys go and check it out. But, Julian Wilson hit the nail on the head. It's the difference between finishing 6th or on top of the world is a fine line. There's not much. And I think he's right there. Personally, I think he's proved himself. He's a pipeline master. He's competed at a high level in all kinds of conditions. He's starting to charge those heavy water waves a lot better. He's got a good air game. He's got one of the best bottom turn, top turn combos in the game. So I think Julian Wilson's knocking on the door of a world title here in the next few years.
I agree. Well, Potts, we always have Strider Wazalewski. He's almost everywhere. I just wonder where he is right now.
Well, we're back down on the sand, and for good reason. This place is absolutely packed. It's a small town, about 80,000 people here in Saquarema, but honestly, I think all of them are down here on the beach right now tonight. There's a big concert over at the church tonight up on that hill over there. There's just everybody's coming up from Rio. This place is just jam-packed. All the restaurants are having a blast. Everywhere is turning into a little mini bar on the site, and they are just enjoying it. And it's a beautiful day down here. The water is just pure trunks weather. Jump in, go for a surf, all the way up and down the beach here. There's perfect little peaks to have fun. So definitely a great time to be here in Saquarema. Come on down. There's still a little bit of room left down on the beach.
Hey, Strider, I want you to pull your phone out, and I want you to get a selfie with all those people in the background.
Strider Wazalewski.
I want to.
Great shirt, by the way, today, Strider. That was
good choice.
Good choice. Looking festive, and he's amongst the people that continue to flock here to Saquarema on this wonderful Saturday.
The people love him. You walk down the street with Strider. It takes ages to get anywhere with that man.
Generally, I'm just helping people take photos with him.
You kind of got to send him ahead, like about half an hour ahead.
As a decoy.
Yeah, as a decoy, and then you can just slide through.
Well, in the water, we have Julian Wilson over Frederico Moraes, the rookie out of Portugal, Cascais. And Moraes needing an excellent score of a 9-point ride if he wants to turn this heat. There's that shot from up above with all the folks.
Oh, look at this set out the back. And he's capping on the outer bank. Moraes with priority. Looks like he's going to have a go.
Whitewater roll in for Frederico. Off the bottom. Beautiful arcing turn. Comes off the bottom again. And another beautiful hack. Finishes off, and he's feeling it, looks to the beach and says, what do I need to do? Give me the 9.
You were feeling that one too, Kais, weren't you?
My pen flew out of my pocket. I got so excused.
Well, that's exactly what he's looking for. He needed something to just light the fire. And Frederico Moraes has found it. I mean, I saw that wave coming. I went, okay, this is going to be it. But now you need to surf it, which he did. Beautiful opening turn there from Moraes as he draws off the bottom again. Another one. So beautiful 2-turn combo straight into the last maneuver. So the judges are going to love that. They're going to love the flow that he carried and see how he just sets the rail off the bottom again, drives off the bottom nice and low, then extends the body, pushes off that back foot, and then jams the fins out the back. So variety, the speed, power, and flow, and the, what do you reckon at the end of it?
The passion.
The passion that Moraes brings to the game. And you can see now he's got a bit of a pep in his step, hasn't he?
He's feeling it. That pumped him up. The crowd behind Frederico Moraes.
Well, he's needing a 9. Okay, so this is going to be close. 8.5 minutes to go. Either way, it's going to get him right back in the heat. It's going to put a little bit of pressure onto Julian Wilson. And now Julian's got to go to that next step, doesn't he? He's got to go to the next level, which is above the air. and we know he's got that.
Nat Young coming up next versus current Jeep leaderboard number 2, Owen Wright. That's going to be for the final heat of this round, and the numbers are in, and it came in at a 9.2 for Federico Moraes. He turns the heat. He is now on top of Julian Wilson.
Goodness.
Julian now needing an 8.14 if he wants to regain the lead. Julian has under 8 minutes and priority pots.
This kid just keeps doing these kind of things. I mean, it looked like for all the money in the world, he was not going to, win this heat. Julian Wilson looked in complete control. All of a sudden, bam, 9.20. Thank you very much.
The answer back from Wilson on this left. Floats it, rock and roll style. Cuts back into the whitewater. Needs a dynamic finish. And rides out in front of the whitewater for a completion. The number he needed, an 8.14.
Yeah, well, is that kind of in the ballpark of his first wave? Trying to think back. There's a bit of a bigger wave. He showed a little bit more energy. Draws off the top and up and over. Beautiful floater maneuver. Great transition between the turns. And then jams it in the pocket. Almost lost it, but then regathered and pulled it off. Look at it from a different angle here. Great technique there from Julian Wilson. Great balance, great speed through the maneuvers. And then to finish off, very important, jams it in the pocket and rides out. So Julian Wilson fires one back at Federico Moraes. Is it going to be enough?
Waiting on scores. Judges, I'm sure, are looking at their replay monitor before assigning a number for that last ride for Julian Wilson. It's going to be in a very, very important wave score in the context of this heat. We're at 6 minutes and 20 seconds, counting down. We saw a motion from Federico. He wanted to know the time, how much more time he has in this heat. He knows he has the lead. He'd love for the horn to blow. Let's take a look at the recap, Potts.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of highlights in this heat, that's for sure. Julian Wilson came out of the blocks firing with an 8.0 on his opening wave and made it quite clear he was meaning business. Well, he needs to, because Federico Moraes is making a habit of doing well in these big heats. He's not scared of the big names. Moraes just going about his business. Just solid, mistake-free, powerful surfing from the rookie on tour. He doesn't look like a rookie to me, Kaipo, that's for sure. And then this bomb came through. Moraes had to connect with it. He did exactly that. Some big, solid turns from Federico. Bang for the finish. 9.20. Thank you very much. He finds himself in the lead. All of a sudden, Julian Wilson looking for an excellent score with around about 5 minutes to go.
We had a wave during the recap. Let's take a look at what transpired.
Well, Federico Moraes, he needs to back up that 9.2. 6.93 is his weak link. Moraes on his forehand, jams it in the pocket, draws off the bottom again. Another slashing turn with a bit of a fin release, showing some pizzazz, and goes down at the end. Well, he needed to finish that wave off just to stamp his authority. I like this next turn here. Watch the fins out the back, slide that tail, so showing the judges a point of difference, and then just didn't quite get his balance, his weight over the front foot. A little bit off balance at the end of that is going to hurt that score. Scores dropping right now for Julian Wilson's last wave. We have got an incredible heat out in the water at the moment.
Back and forth. We're down to 4 minutes. Everyone wants to know what the score is, and it comes in at 8.23. It's enough for Julian Wilson to take the lead over Federico Moraes. Now the pressure is on Moraes. Federico now just needing a 7.03. Julian's hearing the news right now, and there's the math.
Okay. Now the other math is the last wave from Federico. Had he finished that, a no-brainer, that 7.03, no-brainer whatsoever. It's 3 solid turns, but fell off at the end. That is going to hurt that score. Even with that wipeout, I think it's going to still be close, because you look at the quality of those first 2 turns were incredible, but a wipeout at the end is not going to leave a good taste in the mouth for the judges.
Pachi said it before, it's the little nuances. It's these little things as heat transpire. Wave selection, finishing your waves, use of priority. It's all the little things that really determine the results.
It's not just about riding waves anymore. There's so much more goes into surfing a successful heat, that's for sure.
Moraes on the left, stabs it vertical. That's all he's going to get on that one.
Well, still waiting for those scores to drop for Federico. 3 minutes remaining. Julian Wilson with priority. Can he shut this one out? Can he close this heat down? It has been a tough battle, that is for sure. And we always talk about how good Julian Wilson surfs, and his results just have not been really coming for him, have they? I mean, you look at him, he's a world title chance every year, but it just seems to me like when he has a good heat, his opponent has a better heat.
That's right. Well, first stop, Julian got a 13. Second stop, he got a 9th. Last stop, Bells, he got a 13. So not indicative of Julian's actual talent. We're waiting on scores for Federico Moraes on that right that we see him not complete on that last maneuver. That could be the difference. Oh, and it is a heartbreak number coming in for Federico Moraes, a 6.93, just under the requirement to take the heat from Julian.
Yep, I knew it. That wipeout at the end. Give it an extra 0.5 even, and he's got the score. Right? So.
What an exciting heat we've had here. Heat number 11, round number 3 here at the Oi Rio Pro, presented by Corona. And Julian Wilson may be taking out Federico Moraes. Wilson has priority. We talk about heat control pots. What's going on right now?
Well, Julian's pretending Federico is a piece of Velcro, and he's just stuck to him. That's exactly what's happening. He's playing that defense. He's going to try and shut this one down. 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining. Federico has got to be the best used car salesman on the planet right now to try and somehow get that priority back in his corner. 7.03 required. Not a big score in the scheme of things when you look at what's been going down in this heat. Now he's making a move, kicking and splashing, trying to create a little bit of distance. Julian Wilson says you can have it.
All right, something spectacular needs to happen. Starts off piercing the lip vertically, and that wave just dissipates. So no more opportunity, under a minute remaining.
Yep, here comes Julian again. So Federico, run for the mountains, run for the hills, get out of there. He's going to run out of time though, unfortunately, for Moraes. 45 seconds remaining. Julian Wilson, 8.23, 8.0. Moraes with a 9.20, the biggest score of the heat, but he's back up. That fall off is going to haunt him because that was the difference between the score.
He's going to be thinking about the finish of that wave all day, all night, tomorrow,
he's going to lose
the
some
next
sleep
day.
over that last maneuver right there. And Richard Marsh is going to make sure that he never does that again.
He's going to have an earful from his coach, the Dog Marsh. Well, we're down to just 10 seconds, and it looks like it's going to be a foregone conclusion. Julian Wilson started with the lead. He's going to end with the lead, and he's going to take out Federico Moraes and move on to round number 4.
Wow, what a heat.
What a heat. We're going to have next up a battle of the Goofy Foots. Owen Wright versus Nat Young coming up at the final heat of this round. For that, we're going to bring in Peter Mel and Giggs Cilliers for the call.
The new location of Sakurama plays host to this here, the World Surf League's Stop 4 on the Championship Tour. Welcome to the final heat of round 3 of competition. A big one with Owen Wright up in the top end of the Jeep leaderboard, taking on now a replacement surfer this year, Santa Cruz's Nat Young, alongside me, Santa Cruz's Peter Mel. I'm Geek Saliers. Good morning. Hope you're enjoying the show. How's this one for you, Pete?
Battle
Emotional.
of the Goopy Foot. It can be. You know, I think there's going to be. I mean, Owen has been having an immaculate year, winning his first event after being out of competition for a full season, and comes back putting together an amazing first heat or first event. As we watch Nat Young right off the hooter, you know, this kid has had success on the Championship Tour and had a heartbreaking finish to the last season, but he just put together a beautiful first wave here. That backhand so lethal, also picking up a wave on the backhand. Owen Wright. Little stumble there, but keeps it together, gets back to the open face. So great first exchange. As they held it together, completed their ride, so this first exchange is going to be an important part of this heat.
Well, both surfers going to the right-hander. We've seen the split peak happening here. Lefts and rights on offer. As we just go through the low tide mark here, local time just after 10 a.m. here on the eastern edge of Rio de Janeiro. Trust you're enjoying it with us. It's been a big round 3 this morning. Started off with John Florence taking a loss to the Brazilian wildcard Jaeger Dora. And so much has unfolded in the last few hours, Pete. And this one's going to wrap up the round. We will be moving into women's surfing next. But for now, a very important heat for both surfers.
For sure. And of course, Nat Young having the limited opportunities he may get all season, considering where Italo is in his rehab. That's why he's in this event, because of Italo's ankle injury. And, you know, you got to make do with the limited opportunities you get, because he does keep his points. So if he can put himself in a really good situation in this event and up the rankings, you know, the commissioner's office may give him some more opportunities.
Well, Nat Young, Rookie of the Year in 2013, serving 4 back-to-back years on the Championship Tour, making finals. No wins for him just yet, but certainly a lethal competitor. 783 plays a 683 on the numbers, Pete, so edge to the Santa Cruz surfer for that first exchange. See both goofy footers, just a little look.
Oh, they switched priority right there. So there was a paddle according to the priority judge. He doesn't like it. He's looking at it going, wait. He just paddled for that wave, so maybe it wasn't changed up on the scoreboard yet. It changed on ours. So Nat was kind of having a wave going, wait a second.
Well, of course, Ratso Buchanan, we have a priority judge. His only job is to focus in on those moments, allocating priority, and of course second priorities in constant rotation to allow surfers right of way to waves. Owen Wright with second priority will pick up on this wave. Here he goes. Lovely tight angle, sweeps it, connecting, flow, lip drop, beautiful stuff. So Owen Wright, the tall 6'3" figure, posts a second ride here and brings the pressure to Nat Young to reply.
Well, that wave wasn't a major set wave, but he created a score out of it. Brought a little extra speed and flair straight out of the gates. That wave held up for him. He finished strong with that.
And no real backwash interfering in that wave either. So,
well, those first waves of the set, maybe when you don't have a whole lot of set activity before your wave, it kind of limits the backwashes. You watch 2 nice hits and then the speedy float.
Such extension there from Owen Wright, Pete, loving it. Of course, Nat Young 1 point ahead in that first exchange. Judges working on a number now for that wave number 2 for the Australian. What a year it's been so far. A very successful Australian leg for the World Surf League. Move now into the 4th stop. And And I'll tell you someone else that's happy to get through that round 3 encounters, Julian Wilson, with a massive ding-dong battle with Federico Moraes, but he did take the win. He's there with Strada Wasilewski.
Thank you, Giggs. Yeah, Julian, that was an all-out just slugfest.
Yeah, I was mainly on the left, and Fred had some, well, that one, the 9, I was right next to him on the takeoff, and that looked like the wave of the day. And it looked like he surfed it really well from the back. So, yeah, up until that point, I had a pretty solid heat going, and then he kind of went straight to the lead with one wave when I was thinking he kind of was going to need 2 at that point of the heat, and then, yeah, cracked the heat wide open, and I was feeling good on those lefts, and I felt like I had a lot more to give, and yeah, I needed an 8 to get back in front, and just, yeah, rode a wave to get an 8, and then after that was going to kind of look to add some variety again, but when you're needing a score, I don't really look to add too much variety. I just try and get the score, and then when the heat's kind of open, which before Fred got that 9, it was time to open up, but then I was put back in a corner again, and it was a great heat. Fred's a really strong competitor, and he's shown it already this year, and as a wild card in Portugal, making some major upsets in waves like this. So yeah, it was a really good heat. It was fun.
So tell me a little bit, you were saying you haven't been this far down the line in an event here in a few years.
Yeah, not since the first year I came here. So it's been some time, and to crack round 2 was an achievement. And then, yeah, now to get through round 3, it's a really nice feeling. I feel like I got plenty left to give, and I just want to express myself out there and have some fun.
Can't wait to see you. Give us another level of surfing. Congrats on a heat, and thanks for your time.
Cheers, Strides. Thanks.
Congratulations, Julian Wilson, into round 4 here. We are wrapping up the round for the men's. This is the final heat of round 3. Of course, you can follow the heat draws on the World Surf League app. Meanwhile, action out in the water, Pete. A good reply from Nat Young.
Straight up vertical hit. The carve. The one thing that Nat could bring is he's a little quicker than Owen in and out of transition. So that would be a little point of difference for him. Although when you watch Owen Wright, Owen brought a little extra energy and turned that wave into an 8.3. So that wave didn't have that much scoring potential in my eyes when he took off. But Owen surfed it to an excellent wave score, and that's what's going to happen. These guys are so good that they can take a medium-sized wave or even a smaller set wave and turn it into a score. Nat Young had to answer back. He's done that. Will it rival the 8.3? We'll see what the judges think, but this is another great battle ensuing here. It seems like very close, similar in the, the backhand.
This is a great study in the mechanics of backhand surfing too, right? The angular length of Owen Wright versus the tighter, nuggetier frame of Nat Young. Both of them just beautiful power pocket hits, transitions in between. It's going to be a great showdown.
Well, really, I hope the waves come to the party. We are at that dead low tide just after, so it should start to pulse a little bit. We'll see some forehand action here.
Owen switching focus to the left. Little in and out, so that one invited him in. Quick in and out. See a quick look from Owen, glancing around the lineup, scanning, looking for his opponent. Nat Young has been allocated the first priority here.
So that was a bit of a mistake really for Owen there, because he didn't really need to take that wave and ended up giving priority back to Nat Young. We'll see if that could be a turning point in this heat. I mean, if a major set were to come right now with only one quality wave and Nat were to get it, that would be a pretty big mistake.
There you have it. High tide at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Local time now just after 10 o'clock, so it's 10:20 local time. And judges owe us a score, and it's going to be a healthy number coming in for Nat Young. We'll wait for that to lock, and then we'll compare for the first time an accurate look at who has the lead in the seat, as both surfers have banked good rideable waves here. It's going to check in an 8.03, so tight in the pocket for Nat Young, and also for the lead, putting Owen Wright down into second, looking for a 7.56.
Interesting in that scoreline, though, that there was a 3-2 split on if that wave was better than Owen's. Yet the score came in underneath, just by the averages. You can see that 3 judges had that wave better, and then 2 had it lower, but the 2 that had it lower had higher scores for Owen, and of course 0.2 difference. Of course, you only take the high and low out, and you average the top 3 together, the rest of the scores, and that's how you get the single wave score. Law of averages.
0.73 separating these two surfers at this early stage. Still plenty of time to go here. That ticker tape at the bottom of your screen now running out the results of round 3. As I mentioned, you can follow all of this on the World Surf League's app as well. If you do need to be mobile, keep us with you on your mobile device. Also, we're live on Facebook as well. Share us. We love having you all along for the ride as we are with the world's best here at Stop 4 on the Championship Tour. A great heat unfolding here. Nat Young uses priority here, selects this big wraparound turn. Now, second one engaging. Little fin flare. Tight, beautiful rotation, strong punctuation as well. And he'll squirrel his way out of the end of that.
Got to kind of sell it a little bit further, but how quick is that? That's the part that I think that Nat brings to the table, is he's able to just go straight back into a maneuver so quickly.
Yeah, he just piled those maneuvers upon themselves in a quick sequence there. Lovely stuff from Nat Young.
Getting smaller, first wave of the set. Carves his way through, accentuates it by ripping back into the pocket. That time getting a little more loose. Again, straight up, kicks that back fin, and somehow was able to get back in the bottom and to the top very quickly. Getting the drone view up top. And the wave choice here giving him the opportunity to rattle off 4 solid turns. You know, will it improve on the 7.83? It feels like it's kind of in that same vicinity.
Well, a little smudge at the end of that ride there for a potential incomplete. We'll bring that score sobered down to a 7.07, so not appearing in his top 2 that last wave of Nat Young. No change to the situation, though. He is holding the lead over Owen Wright. Of course, Tyler Wright watching every movement here. She will be up surfing in the next round as we enter women's competition next at the Oi Women's Rio Pro, presented by Corona. And while we are in this lull, and Owen Wright is holding the priority, we'll take a quick break. Stay with us. It's a great goofy foot affair here to wrap up the round. A look back to our first stop on the Championship Tour in 2017, a return to the Jersey, and an incredible journey through that week at the Snapper Rocks event. Pete, you were there, you were calling it. What a return to form for Owen Wright. A great human story.
You know, and he surfed so smart. You know, considering he had a brain injury all last season, he came in, no effects being shown. Every heat, tactically sound, no mistakes. And of course, with that, having Wilco in the final, you know, you remember Tyler Wright and her victory with Owen there, congratulating her. So it's just a place that the Wright family has made history. And unexpected, really, considering where he had to come from. You know, just a month before, he was, we didn't know if he was going to be competing.
A great Australian leg for Owen Wright. Comes to Brazil ranked equal second with Geordie. He'll roll that one out. with 13 minutes to go. He's on the hunt for a requirement of a 7.56. That young man on screen in his injury replacement after 4 years of championship tour surfing. Santa Cruz's Nat Young holding the lead here. Of course, Nat Young, the rookie of the year 2013. Owen, his own successes as a rookie back in 2010. Of course, Owen lighting the world up with wins on the championship tour. Let's have a look at the replay here.
So Owen picking a wave that was going to have a bit of wobble on it. See a lot of backwash. And if you take a look now at the 777, which actually got him back to the lead. That late hit, judges eat that up, throw down the 777. So this is one of those heats again where it's just going back and forth.
Wow, we saw that seesaw with Julian Wilson and Frederico Moraes in the previous heat, making for great entertainment here for the Brazilian crowds and of course our global audience. Owen Wright, the tall man, he's riding a 6.3, Pete, so he's gone to the longer rail line as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like his normal shortboard. He kind of likes that 6.3 in length. He'll throw a 6.2 under there and a 6.1 every so often, but mostly that 6.3 goes under his feet, just nice and solid. And everyone talks about how much power this wave has. You know, being even on the East Coast, it still faces directly south, so it gets all that energy. And it does have a bit of juice.
Of course, Owen Wright with that victory to start the 2017 year off. Quarterfinal in Margaret River. The 9th at Bells Beach. Momentum being broken for Owen Wright. Round 5 loss to Mick Fanning, but it's been a stellar performances already this year for Owen Wright.
Well, he's got a chance to get that Jeep Leaders jersey.
Yep.
If he were to finish in the semifinals, 3rd or above, he could take that. Jordy Smith also has the exact same chance considering they're tied on that Jeep leaderboard.
That's the breaking news, folks. This morning here in Brazil, John Florence falling out of the draw, falling to the Brazilian wildcard, Iago Dora. A couple of fish jumping in the background there. But on the stat sheets, a chance here for Owen Wright and Jordy Smith in this event to haul in John as we see Owen ripping into it. Massive sweep. Now steps it up onto the lip, around the corner, another hack. Both surfers in motion for us as Owen flows through to the inside. And Nat will go down. So the tempo here coming at us in Brazil this morning.
Well, Nat would have needed to actually really push those turns, and I think that's why he got a bit too loose. But again, he's trying to get back out on the outside. Nice size set wave here for Nat. That first turn, quick. And then this one, he wanted to get upside down and throw the fins, which he does, and then just goes down. Smaller wave, the first wave of the set for Owen Wright, but he gouges that first turn, climbs that next section, carries that momentum into this carve again, and this rips at it and completes the ride. So you wonder if he'll even improve on the 7.77. Nat was able to get back outside though and gain priority, so still some time.
Pete, both athletes looking in prime form.
They are.
They're both delivering the best cutting edge turns that we've seen from them. Think of a young Owen Wright a few years back. That's looking pretty young to me still. Owen in the jersey, looking really good in 2017 again.
Yeah, you'd love to see both these guys get a couple more reps before this heat's over, just because of the quality of surfing they're doing.
Well, with 9 minutes to go, we'll throw some question marks on the conditions here. It's looking peachy on the Saturday morning. Strider, you'll be down there with Jesse Marley-Dyer. What's your update?
Thanks, Gigs. Yeah, the day is peachy, as you said. I mean, absolutely beautiful day. Really great waves. As Gigs would say, liquid skate park.
Liquid skate park. I like it. Yeah, we're actually going to go into the next round of the women, and I'm going to call on round 4 and the quarterfinals. I think today's it's looking really good out there, and I think it's really fun. So, you know, I'm hoping that it continues throughout the day, and that, you know, even with this tide, as it changes and pushes through, that we get some really good waves.
So we're going to go all the way possibly through the women's quarterfinals today.
Yes, we are. Big full day, and then, you know, we may even have our little TNT Heritage heat. So we're going to leave that one on hold as well and see how we go, but definitely a big day of women right now.
Well, there you have it, guys. A lot of action coming down the line for the female surfers today. And what a day to do it. Beautiful sunny day, great waves. Can't wait for the action.
Thanks so much, Strider. A lot of action coming down the line here on the right-hander as well for Nat Young as you were wrapping that up, because he got to work with some big turns again, and he has to, because Owen Wright's snuck the lead out with an 8.7. Let's have a look at this, Pete.
So this wave grew down the line, and he sets this section up there, hammers it, hooks it back in, quick again, hooking it, and then just too late. And with that, it's almost you feel like that maybe he just finished with that last turn. It would have been a more complete ride rather than going back up into there, but he wanted to stuff it back up into the lip. Can't blame him.
Well, the reality for Nat Young, he's got to find an 8.97 now to answer to Owen Wright. Owen has stitched together an 8.7 on his last ride, and then, well, the second ride he selected for an 8.3. So the Australian now switching it up back to the left-hander. Judges are liking that forehand. Lovely click and release. Big open lines here. As I say that, he'll stumble. Still plenty of time. 7 minutes remaining. Both surfers will lock and load here.
I like that they're not worrying too much about trying to hold priority. They're just going, let's surf this thing out. So they're just straight haymakers at each other, which is always fun and entertaining to watch. Still have yet to see Nat Young's last. I mean, it feels like those two turns were really solid, even the connection with the lip on that one. So 3 solid turns before he went down. So we look at all the women getting set for their round 3.
Big heat coming up for the ladies. See Joanne DeFay taking on Courtney Conlog and Bianca Buitendach. Lots of action coming our way here this morning. Six minutes remaining out in the water. Nat Young glides in from deep and steep, and it's going to be too deep, so no real reply yet. Nat Young looking for the 8.97.
You remember when we were watching yesterday with that tide shift, there was the opportunity that the rip started getting a little bit stronger. So I'm wondering if that's going to start playing in. It is smaller, so it probably won't be as strong.
Water temperatures here in the mid-70s, Pete. I see Owen adjusting some wax there. Let's have a look at the heat recap. It is Owen Wright leading over Nat Young. Some big turns from both the goofy footers.
Well, this was the 8.3, the big long float section. Pulled it off. It's really, to me, it feels like the difference has been the finishes for Owen. Very similar with that backhand approach, but just the finish is a little stronger for Owen, and that's why he's got this lead. If you look at the scoreline, though, 17.0 two-wave total for Owen. He's able to pick up a 7-7 here on this left, which gave him the lead. Nat Young's had his first 2 waves being his best scores. But what a close battle between these two. Now you're past that 5-minute mark. Owen has that priority.
Well, work rate for both your surfers on screen. There's 7 waves selected for Owen Wright during these minutes expired. Nat Young 5 waves, and you made an important point. There's the first 2 waves that Nat Young selected of his 5 were his best ones. Still ticking off 7s there, but just not improving enough. He's got to find the 8.97, so he's got to find the best wave of the heat to take the win now.
Well, I think he has to do it outside of priority as well. But if you see a nice 2-wave set, or you know, and he's able to get Owen to commit, that'll give him the opportunity.
Well, interesting that Owen's been mixing it up, going to the left-handers. A lot of the work being done on the rights. Saw Federico Moraes and Julian focusing mostly on the right-handers. Gone through the tide shift here, as we've spoken about. You've seen Nat hovering around just inshore of Owen, as is typical when you're under that second priority slot. Both got amazing backhands. Looking forward to seeing them on their forehands at the next stop, the H10-12 Pro in Fiji. And then, of course, the Corona J-Bay Open. It's going to be a great one as well, as they'll have to bring their backhands performances to the point break in South Africa. Down to 3 minutes here, Pete. The Santa Cruzian.
Well, you feel the pressure that goes in there, and so can he perform if he gets the opportunity? That's the other part of it. When you have that clock, you realize that this may be your last chance.
Well, Nat's got a lethal backhand on him. Been a runner-up at Bells Beach before. Of course, Owen, so adept at championship tour wins as well. Here we go. This is as Potts would say, a roll of the dice for Nat Young. Big hit, spray flies everywhere. Heavy engaging the second one, and the third one, he holds on. Small to medium-sized wave, though, is the downside of the discussion.
Was that the best wave of the heat? That's really the question. Throw down the comparisons. The 8.7 of Owen Wright was 3 turns, just like that. But was the size of the wave and the criticalness of the turns enough for Nat Young? Be good to see that 8.7 of Owen Wright. You can start throwing a comparison. Again, this isn't a major set wave, but it had a steep wall through this whole section. So he was top to bottom the whole way through, really late, similar to what we saw from Owen Wright in that late hit. Again, that drone view, watching Nat Young, 3-turn combo, whacks it once. See how he places it up there and then rips at it once he gets it up there.
Little bob in the transition there on that replay. You pick it up with in between maneuver 2 and 3. It's going to check in at a 7.27, short of requirements, still on the hunt for the 8.97. Time's ticking away here into Owen Wright's favour and against Nat Young here, Pete.
That's always, you got to do it 30 minutes. That's all you get.
Moving down now to 1 minute remaining. Festive beach scenes here. Appreciative crowd. It's been a wonderful morning of entertainment already, and still lots coming down the track at us on the schedule. We are transitioning into women's surfing. The Oi Women's Rio Pro, presented by Corona. All the talented women are here looking for points. On stop 4, great Australian leg for all of our athletes, but particularly for Steph Gilmore.
It's kind of nice when you come to the women's. A lot of moms come and hang out with the women's surfers. I don't know if you noticed, but you get around the competitors area. It's good to see. Great support, family support.
Well, lots to talk about with the women's draw. Right now, 10 seconds to go now. Owen Wright just ushering in this win. He's going to just shepherd Nat Young here. Nat Young is going to bow out in round 3 of competition here, in as a replacement surfer in 2017. Nat Young will bank a 13th place finish here, put 1,750 points in his bag. Owen Wright takes the win. Stay with us. After the break, we'll bring you the women's surfing.